Hello and welcome to another episode of Seraphina Rising Astrology. I'm Sarah, your guide, your cosmic guide today, and I come to you with a video about this Aries, this potent Aries new moon we have coming up on Friday, April 17th, 2026. The crowd goes wild. I'm playing with my podcasting equipment for the first time, and so just wanted to play it with some of those sound effects of, yeah, this cheer, this joy, this enthusiasm that this new moon in Aries can bring. So let's get into it. So this new moon is happening on April 17, 2026 at 5:51 a.m. And it's an Aries new moon, right at the tail end of Aries season. So let's start at the basics. New moons are all about new beginnings. It's the void of creation, the womb of the sky. The sky is completely black. And so it's a beautiful time. It's starting a new cycle. It's a time to really set intentions, to plant seeds. Um, and so that ideally, in 6 months, when we have that full moon, we'll start to see some of those seeds sprouting. And of course, I have on today my very Aries shirt as the very Aries goddess that I am. Um, and so there is something that I want to talk about new moons that I don't feel like I hear a lot of people talking about, but I notice it in my own life because we are energetic beings, right? That means we can only hold so much energy at a time. And so, yes, full moons are often seen as a time of release, a culmination, right? Things coming to its peak. But I also always feel this release before the new moon because if we are asking for something new, we must be willing to let something old die to create that space for it to be created, to come in. Otherwise, we would just, again, be overwhelming our energy. We probably wouldn't be able to hold it. And so, if you're feeling that this week leading up to it, congratulations, you're on point. You are doing what is being asked of you to clear that space, to be able to hold something more, something new. And I think with this new moon, it might feel extra potent that way. So this is an Aries new moon. So Aries is the warrior, the pioneer, the daredevil. It's a fire sign. It's a cardinal fire sign, meaning it's the fire sign that initiates, that's here to take action, that's to move forward. Aries is the start of the zodiac. In astrology, it's the astrological new year. And in nature, it's nature's new year. It kicks off spring. So things are sprouting, things are blooming. So that's why I think this new moon is going to be extra, extra potent. So yeah, Aries loves to jump right in. Aries has this courage, this fire, this tenacity, this warrior mentality of I'm ready to go to battle for what it is that I want, and I'm not going to let anything stand in my way. So that's the energy that we're harnessing on this new moon. And this is like the most Aries new moon I've seen in a very long time. I mean, especially since studying astrology, because we have 6 planets in Aries. We have the sun, we have the moon, we have Saturn, we have Mars, we have Mercury, we have Neptune. Okay? We have 6 planets in this sign of energy, just bringing out all of this fiery energy. And fire is so sacred. Aries, I've been thinking about this a lot and I want to make some content and share about it, but there's a gift that each sign of the zodiac gives to us, gives to the world. And whether we hold a lot of that energy in our own chart or not, we can feel that energy, especially during that season, especially with moons that are playing with that energy. And so Aries teaches us how to stand up for ourselves, how to say no, how to stand in our power and our independence and choose ourselves over everything and everyone. And yes, sometimes Aries needs to be reminded that it's not just about them. But that's the gift that they show us, is that I can choose myself, and that by choosing myself, that is going to magnetize to me everything else that I want to create. And it really is true, right? Because even if we're going after our goals, we're working, we're doing this, we're doing that, but we're not prioritizing ourself first, doesn't work out well. And trust me, I've been learning a lot of those lessons on my own recently, because Saturn has plopped his ass right on top of me. Anyway, but yeah, so how we choose ourselves and our well-being first, and let that set the tone for other things to magnetize to us. It's almost like really knowing that we deserve it, knowing that we deserve our energy, our love, our attention. And the universe loves that shit. Um, so with the new moon, the sun and the moon are right on top of each other. They're right next to each other. And so there can be this energy of really tapping into our personality and our emotions and blending the two together, because the sun is our personality, the moon is our emotion. So, what is it that I want, and can I feel it in my bones? And I think with anything that we want to create, and with manifestation itself, it's like feeling it in our bodies, feeling that joy, feeling that excitement, feeling that enthusiasm, which is all what that fire energy brings, is going to magnetize that to us. So I want to talk a little bit about an aspect that we have to this new moon. This new moon is squaring the planet Pluto, which is all about transformation, intensity. It's our subconscious. And so with this square, we could maybe feel some tension between our emotions and our subconscious. It might feel like a little bit of like a challenge, some like inner conflict, some tension. However, these challenges are always put there to help us to grow, to help us to evolve. And so this is asking us to transform emotionally, transform our inner world, right? Maybe even transform the way that we relate to our emotions, or the way that we express our emotions or respond to our emotions. And with the energies that we have at play, Aries being the moon and Aquarius being where Pluto is living right now, it can be this like, how do I let my heart sink into myself and let that serve the collective? Let that serve humanity. And maybe it's because I'm an Aries and I have an Aries sun and moon, but I personally believe that by us choosing ourselves, getting right with ourselves internally first, that is the greatest way that we can show up for humanity. It might sound cliche, and maybe it is, and that's okay. But I also think these things are said for a reason. They're experienced for a reason. And it really is like, if we're not right with ourselves, how can we serve the collective? If we are dealing with a lot of turmoil internally, that's a frequency that we're going to bring out into the world. But when we get right with ourselves, when we choose ourselves, when we honor ourselves enough to put ourselves first, that will be the best way that we can show up for not only everyone else in our life, but for humanity. It's a frequency that we will put off. And frequencies like don't even need words to be understood. It's felt. And so this challenge is going to make us stronger and wiser. You know, we may notice a lot of emotional and psychological, subconscious purging during this new moon. And so that's why I really wanted to pinpoint that moment that I feel that there's a release before the new moon. So for this new moon, I could see, with that square in Pluto, it being because the days leading up to it, we may start to feel that square happening. And so there's going to be this purging, this sense of like, I need to get this out. I need to release this. There may be subconscious patterns of behavior coming to the surface, any compulsions, any addictions, any guilt, jealousy, things like that, shame might be bubbling up to the surface. And anything that's coming up is because it wants to come out. And so allowing that to come out. And with this Aries energy, with 6 planets in Aries, I'm going to tell you one of the best ways to move this energy is through your body. Aries is also about the physicality, physical energy. We have Mars in Aries, which is in its home sign. So we might even be feeling extra energy buzzing in the body, extra intensity, extra fire energy in the body. So for Aries, they tend to be very active because we need to move that energy through our bodies, And so some of my favorite ways, especially shit that feels like heavy or a lot, is to shake it out, to scream it out, to punch it into a pillow, right? Go to war, like let that anger, that frustration out. Because with all of this Aries energy, it wouldn't be a surprise that there is some frustration, some anger, right? Aries kind of holds that emotion of anger. But what also Aries can teach us is that anger is not a bad or shameful emotion. It's a necessary emotion. It's an emotion that we need to make a change. It's like, I am fucking fed up with this. And so I'm going, like, no more. We can only do the old patterns for so long until we get sick of our own shit. And then, like, that's when that true transformation starts to occur. Like I said, I've been feeling this in my own life. And this morning, I finally, after, usually, I mean, will like shake here and there, but I hadn't done like a full somatic release for a little while. And so I did that out in nature today, just out in my backyard, and I shook and I held myself and I cried and then I danced with the pleasure, with the joy that is within me. I pulled a card this morning reminding me, and I'll remind you too, that all of this joy lives within you and it is your birthright. But sometimes there's things that are on top of that. And so we just got to shake it out of the body, move it out of the physical layer, and then really let it land, really let that joy be what we emit into the world. So, we also have the planet Mercury and Mars in a harmonious aspect to Pluto. So there may be some depth and intensity to our thinking, to our communication, even to our physical energy, right? Like Mars is the planet of drive, of passion, of energy. Also tends to be more masculine energy, this like action oriented energy, right? Where Venus is more of that, feminine energy. And Mercury is the planet of the mind. So all things with the mind, learning, speaking, communication. Um, and so when it has this harmonious aspect, it's like we're being ignited in this way. Like we're being ignited in our mind to go deep, because Pluto is all about diving deep. And so maybe through this intense emotional purging, we like understand it in our minds, like where this is coming from. And then the mind and the heart start to click together. And then that transformation can really, really be embodied and felt within. Um, Also, a beautiful way of transforming the way that we take action, with that Mars in that harmonious aspect to Pluto. And so taking actions that are actually worth it, going deep into our depths of like, what is it that I'm passionate about? Why am I passionate about this? And let me get really clear on that and then take action towards that, but action that's actually going to serve. And Saturn being in Aries is going to help us all not just people with Aries placements, but it's going to help us all collectively to be more intentional with our actions, to build a solid foundation, because Aries loves to start things. We don't always love to finish things, okay? And that's okay, you know? But this Saturn in Aries is going to mature us all in this way, especially my Aries placement. So Aries, Sun, Moon, and Risings, y'all are going to be feeling this a lot. But it can bring some like limitations, some delays to our actions, because Saturn has this very earthy energy. So it's asking the fire to ground, to contain it, to slow down, to let that action that you feel that you want to take be from inspiration, be from passion, and not just because we think that we need to do it to get there, right? To get there, wherever there is. Because really all the moment is right now. And Saturn in Aries will also remind us that the process is where the magic lives, that building it is the beauty, you know, and seeing it through to the end, right? Like that is something that I have been practicing and learning in myself, is just seeing things through to the end, like feeling that sense of like, oh, I did it. Not like I just started it, you know? And I mean, I've had this podcasting equipment for a few years now. Let's just put it that way. And I'm finally breaking it out and finally learning how to use it. And that's okay, because I'm finishing what I started. So, anyway, all that to say that on this new moon, all of these energies are going to be at play for us. Um, even Neptune in Aries, this planet of the dreams, of our visions and all of that, and bringing that into action, and it's like all 5 of these planets are playing into this new moon. So, this new moon is about setting intentions that are aligned with your passions, that are aligned with what just lights you up, what makes you feel so joyous inside. It's also going to ask us to simplify the steps and to take those steps to build that foundation to see it through till the end. It's also going to ask us to transform the way that we think, in a beautiful way, and add some more depth to our thinking and not just think everything as so surface level. And to also transform the way that we respond emotionally. So, all of this together, bringing about this potent, potent, potent energy at the start of the zodiac new year. So, set those intentions. What's lighting you up? What's really just, and to fan that fire. Let's fan that flame. Bringing the air into it. But we have some Aquarius energy with the aspects to Pluto right now. So what does air do to fire? It brings it up. So you can think of that even with the sextiles that we have with the mind and with our passions and our drive. So it's going to be a potent one. I'm excited to see what you want to create. I'm excited to see what I want to create. But again, I would say slowing down. What are those things? What are the intentions that you can set that you know that you'll finish? That you know you will stay disciplined and devoted to? Because that's what Saturn's also here to remind us of, right? And then anything, maybe there's something that you're like been sitting with for a while that you're like, gosh, I really want to do this, but I've had fear and I've had doubt and I've had worry. Well, all of this Aries energy is asking you to jump right in. We'll figure out the plan later. No, just kidding. Have a little bit of a plan, says Saturn in Aries, but all this Aries energy just inviting you to have that courage, have that tenacity, have that confidence to look your fear right in the face and go for it anyway. Aries is known to be so courageous, but courage doesn't come from the absence of fear. Courage comes from seeing fear and moving through it anyway. So I hope this was helpful for you. Happy new moon in Aries. Let's spark up. Let's create some fucking amazing shit, some wild shit. What's your wildest dreams? What are little things that you want to do that can help you to get there? Here we are. Happy new moon in Aries. And if you want to know more about maybe how these energies that we're playing with right now in the sky could be affecting you personally, you can book a reading with me. I still have my 40% off intro offer going on till the end of this month. Even if you have to schedule it out, which we may because schedule's getting busy. But even if we have to schedule it out to May or June, because I am going out of town at the end of May, as long as you book it by the end of April, I'll give you that 40% off. So let me know. My link is somewhere on my YouTube page. And you can also contact me through there by email with any questions or anything you need. So until next time.